I want to go back to the transfer portal of time, and Eve in Jewish gematria is 710. And when you go back 710 days, you hit January 31st, which also is an Eve connection. When they make a movie called All About Eve, you have to really pay attention to that everything's about Eve. Because Eve, for God, represents the church, as Christ is Adam to the Eve, so to speak. And there's Bible verses that tell you that where Jesus was like a form of Adam, in that both created by God, not through simply man's creation, or by man, male having sex with woman, because the Holy Spirit birthed that in Jesus's mother. Jewish gematria, the 710 in the English ordinal, it's 31. It's 32. And I go by English, that's simple gematria, where A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. And so when you look at 32 in prime numbers, it's 131. So as a coincidence, when you go back 710 days, you do land on 131, January 31st, 2020. When you go up through the transfer portal of time, 710 days, you do land on the winter solstice of this year, December 21st. It's interesting. And if that's the Eve, because we got a double Eve there, does that mean the event would take place the next day? Or that he goes down on the 20th? And the eve of the book of Revelation being opened? Because he rises on the third day. Rising on the third day, and then he would be rising on the 22nd. That's the rebirth of the sun. Sun god worship. So if his death and rising are not tied to the full moon, like iPet Goat showed us, and they cryptically took it down, meaning, not a lot of it was true, so we're going to take it down, so to speak. So then this is a big time. The Dark Knight came out on July 18th, and The Dark Knight Rises came out on the third day. Rising on the third day came out on July 20th. Dark Knight, July 18th. Dark Knight Rises, July 20th. They were 4 years apart, 2008, 2012, sure, but just the same. Rising on the third day. So they cryptically flexed on us, showing us that, like Jesus, the book of Revelation will be opened with the crowning of the Antichrist, receives a crown. A crown is given to him. He had a bow. Well, we know he was born with the full moon, total lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, which is the archer. So he had a bow in his natal chart, and a crown was given to him. He didn't earn it. He didn't really die and rise from the dead. This is a spiritual possession of his body. 2 days after Mystery Babylon pulls off the deadly wound event to the twin or the clone, the twin trumps, the twin towers. What rose back up? One World Trade Tower. That's your Antichrist. So you come back and you take a look at this December date, and these are all big deals. This is a big deal, because we know the transfer portal of time is a real thing. College football's transfer portal. We know what that's all about. And the portals that they talked about in Donnie Darko. You know what would be interesting to run? you want to look at dates, is 1988. And the October 10th date of when they did the portal. And then let's run that to the 22nd. 12856-35212. It's interesting. Anyway, that's just something fascinating I wanted to show you. The Super Bowl that was played just days after this January 31st date of 2020 was on Groundhog Day. Let's go to my prep. There's some other things I wanted to show you. When you get back into these prime numbers, 404 verses in the book of Revelation, 357 verses in the book of Daniel, both end times verses. Well, the 404 prime number is 2777. What in the world? 404 verses of Revelation. Remember, my address was 404 Lime Street. I've shown you all that, documented that with you. The 404 verse, 404 verses in Revelation. The 404 prime number is 2777, and seven's the number of cleansing. That's why the church is divided into seven. The church is about to go through its cleansing. Per Daniel 11:35 and Daniel 12:10. Talks about the end times are to cleanse the bride and to make her garments white so she can be the bride. It's to purge the church. That's what these purge movies are about. Satan gets to purge the earth through the four horses, and then comes the great tribulation, where God purges his sheep. And it has the word purge in Daniel 11:35, and I think both in Daniel 12:10. It talks about, or one of them has the word purge, but they both speak to the garments being made white. So and we know 7 is the number for cleansing because of 2 Kings 5:14, along with other Bible verses. Then told to dip himself 7 times in the river Jordan, according to the saying of the Son of Man, and his flesh became like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. 7 is the number for cleansing. The 7 trumpets and 7 bold judgments of God's wrath are about God cleansing the earth. There's a tremendous Bible study I just did. I want to put it on all my platforms. Let me load it. Hang on. And by the way, per yesterday's video, was in a deep dream, deep sleep, woke up, doctor standing over me and wake me up telling me I'm going home. So December 1st, that's patient 0. December 1st, 2019, we showed you that from Wikipedia. That was patient 0, discovery day. Day I'm going home was the day the illness began across the earth. It's fascinating. So anyway, a little of that big Bible study I got back. I want you to look at $357 and 404, and how the prime numbers are 2399 of 357, and 277 is the prime number of 404. So the number 2399 was the 357th prime numbers, 357 verses in Daniel. The number 2777 is the 404th prime number, 404 verses in the book of Revelation. Well, if you look at 2399, 399 is murder in gematria. It's in Jewish gematria, actually. To the murder of Mr. Big. That opens the book of Revelation and the book of Daniel. And the 2777, well, 7 is a number for cleansing. And Trump was 70 years, 7 months, and 7 days old at his inauguration, because he is the cleanser. We all, through much tribulation, enter the kingdom. Acts 14:22. Well, the great tribulation is to cleanse the bride. 2777 is the 404 number of verses in Revelation. 2777 is the 404. Well, the 404th prime number is 2777, to cleansing. That's the AC's job. Now, when you add 404 plus 357, you get 761. That's my birthday, July 6, 1961. 7-6 fused with 61. Fascinating. 5,801 is the 761 prime number, 761st prime number. And we remember that total solar eclipse of 801. When you run that total solar eclipse, in August 1st, 2008, 801, to today, it's when I looked it up, I was fascinated. It's a clean 5,600 days, 5600. I was fascinated at that, because I just looked all this up today. So it gets interesting. And I'm really looking at the 16th, but of course, we're looking at the 20th. If you go to, what day is the rebirth of the sun? It says December 21st-22nd each year, the winter solstice. What is the rebirth of the sun? Because the winter solstice is a reversal of the sun's ebbing in the sky, which we know is just coming around in a tight circle and then a big wide circle. Well, it begins to become a tighter circle again around the circle of the earth. The rebirth of the sun from the dead. Winter solstice is also known as Yule, Christmas, and Saturnalia. And everybody celebrates it. The pagan tree in their house. And they're like, oh, Jesus' birthday. What? So anyway, yeah, that's a big deal, isn't it? It's a big deal. And see, he would be rising on 7/11 days through 7/11, 11/7. That would be his rising day, December 22nd. This means he's going down December 20th. That's what it means. That's what it means. And I talked to a good friend today. It was my last relationship, 2017. And she was born on December 20th, 1966. And her number has 4s on each side, but the 718 in the middle, which is when The Dark Knight came out, July 18th. And she's the 20th, which is when he would go down. Porsche 911, Porsche 718. She got 718 right in the middle of her number. And you put me and her together, because I'm July 6, 1961. 7 times 6 times 1961. My number is 82364. Times it by her number 47184. And you got the 38 for murder code. You got the 88 for Trump. You got the 86ing of him. 68, the rising, the reversal. 86 again. 68 again, the rising. You got 286s and 268s in our combined number, me and her. And I just talked to her today before I realized all this stuff, because I came home and decided to look up the transfer portal. If this is when he's going down, then the Holy Spirit had us do that, didn't he? It's a big deal. It's a big deal. What else have I got in my prep? Oh, when I ran that number times my number, 5801, which is the 761 prime number, when I times it by my number of 82362, 4777, it's got 3 sevens again. And I ran Trump's number, which is 6 times 14 times 1946. His number is 163464 times the 5801. And right in the heart of it is a 254. Guess what day 9/11 was? The 254th day of the year. That's fascinating. That's a big deal. It's all a big deal, man. Right? What do y'all think? Anyway, fascinating. Love you very much. And really 7-11 through the portal. And that takes us back. I'll tell you what that takes us back to. Girl with a dragon tattoo. 7-11. And over here you got like a lunar eclipse to the right. But there's 7-11 right there, which is all about what? The rising, Revelation 11:7. The rising of who? The guy born on the total lunar eclipse. I don't know. It's something. Anyway, love you.